Ready or Not, directed by Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillett, follows a newlywed wife that is joining a rich and prestigious family in the Ladomas family. It's a Ladomas family tradition that when a new person enters the family that they play a game that night. The game they're playing this night is hide and seek, except with a twist. The family is hunting the bride and intends to kill her before dawn. As the bride learns what's going on, she desperately tries to stay alive. Alright, so I primarily went to see Ready or Not because I heard very positive things about it, from a number of different directions. I don't think it was a film I would have seen otherwise because it looked like a premise that wasn't all that creative and the trailers never really interested me all that much. That said, the reviews have been coming in and there's been a lot of praise being thrown this film's way. So I thought, let's go give it a shot and see it. Overall, I think Ready or Not is good, but I'm probably a little bit lower on it than The Field. Ready or Not does offer a lot of fun, it does have a good sense of humor, and it certainly is suspenseful, I will say that. I would also say that after seeing it, the plot is more creative than the trailers would lead you to believe. There's a decent amount of ambiguity to the lore and the backstory behind the family traditions that influence the whole course of events that happen on this wedding night. This was a pleasant surprise for me because there's a question that the characters consider throughout the film that guides their actions. And this question is unanswered until the very end, and that uncertainty leads the characters to make certain decisions along the way. I thought that, this was a creative spin on the whole locked in a house, do whatever you can to survive premise, that has popped up in various horror movies like Don't Breathe over the past several years. But I will say that a lot of the movie rides on the performance of Samara Weaving as Grace, the bride and newest member of the Ladomas family. I think she was the only character and the only performance that, left a lasting impression on me. I think part of it is her ability to fight off an entire family coming after her from scene to scene, but I think what most impressed me here was Samara Weaving's ability to feel like I was almost in her shoes. She made me feel like I was almost there frantically trying to survive like she was. I think a big reason the viewer is able to feel that suspense in the film is because of how genuine Samara Weaving's performance feels. I felt like I was watching a real person in a horrifically odd situation, just clawing and scratching her way in an effort to survive. In a horror movie like this, one of the biggest make or break factors is the lead character, and that lead character being able to make you feel the gravity of their situation. Samara Weaving definitely pulls it off, and I felt like I had a connection to her character, but I don't feel like I can say that for any of the other actors. I mean, I can't say that the performances were bad, but I just didn't feel too connected to any of the supporting characters. I just found them easily forgettable. And, I get they're not supposed to be the most developed or the most layered, because their primary purpose is to mostly hunt down Grace, but there's not all that much memorable about them besides that. There are some references to backstory, at least about the family as a whole, hinted at, here and there, but I just really was not feeling the supporting characters and what they had to offer. What I did like was how much fun the movie was. I think it's great seeing a horror film like this that doesn't take itself too seriously. It knows it's over the top, it knows its premise is crazy, and it knows it's ridiculous, and it plays to the strengths of that. There's horrific things in this movie that happen, but they're often played with a touch of comedy to make the movie more fun. Characters will accidentally kill someone, or they'll be overconfident and try to shoot someone and just straight up miss, and it makes the film funnier and a little lighthearted. I wouldn't say that Ready or Not is terribly scary, but I would say that I did feel like I was on the edge of my seat, seeing if Grace would be able to make it out of these dangerous situations that she continually finds herself in. I think I would call this more of a thriller comedy film than I would a horror film because of those comedic aspects and the almost lighthearted nature of the brutal chaos that ensues on screen. Something else that I think works really well here is the dialogue. The conversations are often funny, and I actually found some of them pretty touching. I mean, there's aspects to various characters that provide a little bit of depth that speaks to the justification for the carnage and why some family members at times question it. There are also scenes where characters will express their feelings about the family as a whole and how some of them are struggling with the expectations and what's been required of them along the way. While I didn't feel overly connected to the characters, I found the writing to be pretty effective at humanizing them and providing a layer of development at least. The dialogue does a nice job progressing the story and creating natural feeling conversations based on the atmosphere, and also adding, some quips and lightheartedness. One problem I have with Ready or Not, though, is that I think it does become a bit repetitive after a while. There's only so much you can do with a single premise of hide and seek in a single location, and in this case, that single location is the family mansion. I think that while the film does mix up the threats as well as it can, it starts to become repetitive because it's more often than not the same weapons, it's the same characters, and really it just becomes a matter of how different is each interaction truly. There's plenty of fun to be had, but after a while I felt like I had seen a lot of what I was being shown already. even with only an hour and 35-minute runtime, somewhere around there. There is progression in terms of how Grace defends herself and how the family pursues her, but I don't think it's different enough to keep your attention from start to end. I do want to give the filmmakers credit though, because I think what they created here is something that's a slight deviation from the modern horror experience. Just enough to feel creative and to offer something fun and still somewhat scary. I think that as a whole, it's well written, it's a well directed film that won't disappoint most fans looking for just that. As for the pros cons, for the pros, I think Samara Weaving delivers a charismatic and genuine leading performance. The dialogue is very well written, there's a nice balance between comedy and scares, and maybe most importantly, it's fun. As for the cons, I think the film offers weak supporting characters, and it tends to feel a bit repetitive. I'm still going to give Ready or Not an 8 out of 10 and recommend you check it out in theaters if you're looking for a horror film. While it's not incredibly scary, it makes up for it in other areas and still offers respectable levels of horror. So did you guys see Ready or Not yet? What did you think of it? And if not, let me know why not. Also, let me know how you're doing. I think that I could come up with some other question to end this video, but it's probably not as important as how are you doing. So let me know how your life is going down in the comments below. For me, everything is good. I'm hoping to get some more videos out to you guys soon, but it's always a challenge balancing work, school, and life as a whole. Either way, I look forward to hearing from you down in the comments below. This is WillFoxification signing off. See you in the next video.